Welcome. I bid you welcome to Monday Night Metal. I am your host, Johnny Metal. Today, this is the first time that I'm going to be doing this. So I hope this becomes a weekly thing. We shall see. But today, I got Jack Toledano from All or Not According to Jack. Brother, how you doing?
Great. How you doing, John?
Man, I'll tell you
I
what.
really appreciate the invite. And this is my first
Yeah,
time ever doing a live feed like this. This is
this is
cool.
this is going to be fun. This is definitely going to be a lot of fun. I want to make sure I'm already should be already on Facebook Live. Let's see. Yep, I am live now, so that's a good thing. Okay, so yeah, Monday night metal. So this is what happens when you wake up in the middle of the night and you have bad dreams, and you decide you just want to, and then you get this weird thing in your head saying, Monday Night Metal. Should I really do this? So 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and I'm deciding to put a post out on Facebook. Anybody want to see me go live and do this thing called Monday Night Metal? And Jack was like, yeah, what times? And well, there you go. I guess I'm going live. So here we are. So basically what I'm going to be doing, this is just going to be a little hangout thing where we're going to just I'll be yakking with anybody who wants to watch. And we're basically going to just talk about stuff from the past week, or there's really not going to be a whole lot of a format really to this, but we're going to have some fun. But we've got at least a couple stories that we want to talk about. And the first one that I want to talk about, brother,
Hulk Hogan.
The immortal Hulk Hogan.
It's so funny when I first heard about it, and in my household, the only person who really I can really talk not metal wrestling with is my future son-in-law George.
Right.
And, he doesn't remember this, but WrestleMania 4, I did my impersonation of the Macho Man. Hulk Hogan was a cheated man, yeah, not a defeated man.
I love it. That's awesome. That is awesome. But yeah, boy, I was so where I was when I heard about it. I was at the DDPY Performance Center. Now, for all those who may not know, DDPY, Diamond Dallas Page, he had this little thing called DDP Yoga. Now he's kind of shortened it to just DDPY because it's really kind of more than just yoga. There's a lot more strength building and a lot of other things that's kind of building into it now. So I was at the PC, and there was Ron Haggerty. Yeah, good to see that. Yeah, I heard about this about Hulk Hogan with that. So yeah, that was an encouragement to see. So I'm at the DDPY Performance Center, and I just finished a workout with Dallas himself. And when Dallas tends to run you through a workout, he is definitely going to kick your rear end most of the time. And this was no exception. There was a segment of the workout where I think he had us in a squat for like two minutes. So my knees were really screaming at me at this point. But anyway, so we finished the workout. We click off the app, and he wanted to talk to us about another thing that he's working on developing. And I got out of the app, and I noticed that my phone just had been blowing up with all these messages. And I'm like, so I click on, and I'm like, seeing what's going on, and I see this news. I'm like, what? Hulk Hogan died? What? And I'm just like, I'm looking at the people around me, and I'm like, and I'm just like in horror reading this. And thank you, Jake. I appreciate that.
By the way, I haven't figured out how to make this my full screen, so I can't really see the comments that are coming in. So
okay. I'll work on that.
Well, if they pertain to me, just let me know, and I'll.
Yeah. Well, Jake Knott from State Farm says, "Hey to the both of us." So
how you doing, Jake?
Yeah, Jake's.
I've been called Jake also a few times.
Yeah. So, um, so as Dallas is finishing his spiel, somebody asked, he says, "Does anybody have any questions?" And someone said, "Does it have to pertain to the workout?" And I heard his wife in the back say, "Yeah, we need to keep it to the workout, but actually, honey, you need to come to the back. He needs to go right now." And Dallas is like, "Whoa, what did I do? What did I do? Am I in trouble?" It's like, "No, you need to come back now." So he's like, "Okay, happy wife, happy life." So, so off he goes. Well, he explains in a post later that he was told the news by his wife and his business partner, that
Oh,
that's when Hogan passed away. So it was better to have let him hear that in public instead of one of us wrestling fans, students yell it
yeah.
out to him, and that
Yeah.
would not have been appropriate. So yeah, so that was that. And then he would wind up, he ended up being like he had like interviews with, different news outlets were wanting to interview him and stuff like that. So then that would go for the rest of the weekend. We would see him off and on. And he led another workout on Saturday and stuff like that. And he hung out and was signing stuff, taking pictures, different things like that. So it was really super cool to hang out with Dallas. We actually had a couple of other celebrities show up. One was another one of Dallas's past experiences,
Minions.
and that would be Miss Kimberly.
Oh, okay.
So the Diamond Doll. Now the Diamond Doll, or Diamond Babe, as I accidentally called her. Now she was actually the one that got him to start doing some of the yoga stuff when he really had some bad back injuries and things like that. And when he started to do some of that stuff, that's when he realized, hey, this is really feeling good. And then he started doing some other things. And Kimberly was like, I think you're onto something here. And so she was really the one that really started kind of helping him develop that program that he does now. So she's still kind of involved in some way, shape, or form. So that was the first time I actually met Kimberly in person. So that was super cool. But I also got to see another one that that Dallas has been kind of doing a lot of work with, and that would be one half of the American Males, Scotty Riggs.
Him I never heard of.
Okay, so he was part of a tag team with Buff Bagwell in
Him
the
I heard of, yes.
mid '90s, and they were the American Males. And when Nitro came to Salisbury in November of '96, we got the NWO member we got to join was Buff Bagwell. He turned on Scotty Riggs that night, and Scotty Riggs got the beat down. Well, there you go. So when I was talking to Scotty, I told him the last time I saw you in person was that night. And he goes, "Really? That was in Salisbury? I kept thinking it was Lakeland, Florida." I was like, "Nope, I was there. Definitely Salisbury, Maryland." Because he was like, because Bagwell said, it's Salisbury, Maryland. I was like, "Man, I have it in Lakeland," but nope. So I corrected him on that. So you're welcome, Scotty Riggs. But anyway, so yeah, so I got to hang out with them. That was a really cool thing. We were having a thing called Transformation University. So, and we were celebrating the graduation of the first semester kind of thing. So that's what the whole thing was about. So it was a really super cool event. Got to meet a lot of awesome folks. Had some good laughs, and it was a really good time. But obviously, the first half of the week, we also had a lot of other bad news. We lost Theo from the Cosbys, but no, we're not going to talk about Theo because I never watched the Cosby Show. We also lost George Coymans. I guess that's how you say his name, from Golden Earring, the singer and guitar player.
Yes, right.
From Radar Love and Twilight Zone.
Right.
And we also lost Chuck Mangione.
Yes. And there's one more.
But there's one that we have to talk about the most.
Well, it's not even that one. This is going back a generation to my father's time in his youth.
Okay.
Connie Francis.
We lost Connie Francis too recently.
Connie Francis. So my father was stationed in the Coast Guard over in Naples, Italy, where I was born, believe it or not, in case people didn't know that.
Right.
And Connie Francis must have been on one of those tours, and she met. I don't know where he was stationed at that time, but my father and three of his fellow coasties, got a picture with Connie Francis. So that was pretty cool. So
Very cool.
Back in the day before selfies, that was a 1960s selfie.
There you go. There you go. That's cool.
Right.
Yeah. Connie Francis, that was another big one. But yeah, I think you could kind of see right there.
Yeah.
The Ozman.
Yeah.
The Ozman leaveth.
Right.
Just about 2 weeks or so after the last gig in Birmingham, England.
Yeah.
I did not watch a note of any of that. I don't know. I just didn't want to watch it for some reason.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling like I
knew. Who
yeah,
knew
exactly.
What happened? Yeah.
So it was what a sad moment when I saw that online. I'm like, what?
Right.
So so Jack had proposed this idea to me about talking about Ozzy, and I'll let you present the idea. And we'll take it from there.
Well, first, for one thing, so I know everybody was quick to get their dedication to Ozzy up, all of us YouTubers, and of course I was having computer problems that night, so I didn't get mine up until later that evening. But mine is about 14 minutes long, and hopefully John will give my my information for my channel, all not according to Jack, later on. But
yes, I will. I will make sure that in this description, I will add that in the description. So yes,
and please go check that out. It's very humble, but at the same time, I have a very funny story relating to Ozzy and the T-shirt story, as my buddy Davey Cretin called it. Yeah. But I also do a dedication to Hulk Hogan. Obviously, I'm getting more hits on the Ozzy Osbourne one. But so my question to John earlier today, and maybe it's something we can discuss. Everybody thinks of him as the Prince of Darkness, or as the forefather of metal. So my question to everybody out there: who do you think were the forefathers of metal and hard rock? What do you think?
Yeah, boy. I mean, it's really kind of a toss up, because you can make the argument for Zeppelin being more hard rock because of they kind of brought in the more of a heavier blues to their sound.
Right.
But if you're really going to go into metal, I mean Sabbath really took the heavy blues and just ramped it up, to a different degree. Robert Plant might be the better singer, but as far as Ozzy goes, you can't deny what kind of a front man he was.
Right.
And he was a good singer. I don't know, maybe not on Robert Plant's level, but he certainly was a good singer, and he knew how to roll with the riff.
Right.
And that seemed like he was really good with that. And but he had that charismatic aura about him when you would see him on stage,
But
so
at the same time, Sabbath was less experimental than Led Zeppelin. I mean, with
this is true.
You by the third album, there was a lot more elements of folk.
Correct.
Whereas Sabbath kept it heavy. I mean,
right. Go ahead. I was feeling a sneeze coming on. So
excuse me.
Okay. Sorry.
Well, there's a third band in that triumvirate of three. For me, there was Deep Purple.
I was going to say Deep Purple. Yeah, and I would agree with that.
I didn't agree with the way they sacked poor Rod Evans and Nick Simper, but in doing that, they put a hell of a lineup together with that Mark II lineup, and basically for me the secret ingredient to that formula, and I love this guy to death. He's also no longer with us.
Yeah.
John Lord.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, John Lord was that special sauce for Deep Purple.
Yeah.
He was, I mean, Richie was Richie, but
Yeah.
boy, when you add John Lord's organ into that, man,
Yeah.
that's what really made it
Played through a
sweet.
Marshall stack of all things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just gave it that extra element. And, this was another episode that I did back on June 5th, which ironically, that was my birthday. And that was the
Right.
same day that In Rock was released. So,
Right.
so I did an episode about that, and couldn't have picked a better album to fall on my birthday, because I love that album to death. It's freaking fantastic.
All right. So Jake, not from State Farm, he says metal, Sabbath, Priest, then Dave Mustaine for elevating it with thrash. He is the Iommi of that genre. Then Dimebag, that's his thing.
Okay.
And then Ron here, Sabbath, Purple Zeppelin for sure, but you cannot forget about Uriah Heep as well.
Interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. Yep. And then they all elevated and took it to a whole new level. The one thing I want to speak about Uriah Heep.
Yeah.
I always feel like, to me, Heep almost kind of has that almost like a Deep Purple sound, really.
Oh, without, there's no question.
Yes. But their first albums were like almost kind of neck and neck, because I think that first Uriah Heep album was about 69 or so.
70, I believe. Yeah.
69, 70, something like that. DC Toontown, he's saying Cream would be the father of hard rock.
Okay, I could kind of see that.
Yeah, I could kind of see that.
Getting back to Heap, I feel bad for Heap. I love.
Yeah.
I came a little late to the game, but I love Uriah Heep. Now, I got to see them. You went to the Heap Saxon show last year, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I think we talked about it on my channel, perhaps.
I think we did. I think we did.
Oh no, actually, we talked about accepting KK's Priest.
Yes, we did do that one for sure.
Okay, because Uriah Heep and Saxon, I discussed on Sea of Tranquility. Of course, I went out to the Patchogue Long Island show, and I ran into my buddy Chris Allo there.
Right.
And you want to know something? That was my best concert of 2024. They were that fucking good.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think through no fault of their own, they've kind of taken a back seat to the other three, but they definitely are forefathers, no question.
Definitely, I would definitely stick them in there. Definitely stick them in there somewhere. But man, I mean, you think of well, let's just look at those. I'll throw Cream in there too. Let's put all five of those bands together.
Right.
So Cream, Sabbath, Purple, and Heat. Let's just look at, say, those five bands. Think of how many bands have been inspired by and influenced by all those bands.
Right.
It's kind of crazy because if you didn't have one of those bands, you're not going to have some other kind of form, or if they did, it would look a lot different. So
I think Cream was kind of inspiring to Rush. So there's definitely that. Right.
I would also agree with that, with the especially with the trio. Let's see what we Heap were definitely more progressive than the others. Maybe that's what held them back. So that's a good. I agree with that, Ron. And my boys, they covered Easy Living, and they did a darn good job of it too. I like their version of Easy Living. Right. I like the original too, but I love Wasp's version.
Oh, Wasp show. Hey, did you see them last year?
I did.
I saw them at one of their last shows in New York City, and not to get too political, but it just happened to be the same night that the UFC was showing at Madison Square Garden, just around the block from where they were. And Blackie Lawless pissed a few people off by posting a picture of Donald Trump at the very end.
Yeah, I heard about that.
A
Yeah,
few
I think he
people
got a
walked
little
out.
bit. I think he got questioned about that at the meet and greet that I was at that night in Atlanta. But
Right.
he had a funny story. I can't remember the whole thing of it, but he had a fun story with it all. But it was like, well, but thankfully that did not happen in Atlanta. But
Right.
that's okay. They still brought it, and it was still an amazing show.
Oh yeah. No
But
question.
yeah, but yeah. So yeah, of all those five bands, let's see. Peter Jones, what are we chatting about? We're kind of going all over the place, but we're trying to circle back to was Ozzy considered like Ozzy and Sabbath considered like the forefathers of heavy metal and hard rock, and we're kind of all discussing a little bit about that. So
And
that's
if
kind
you
of where we're going.
threw a few extra bands in there,
And,
which
we
I
threw a
don't
few extras.
agree with, but there's a sixth, and they in the late 70s they came into being. I'm talking Judas Priest,
Mm-hmm.
so hence my shirt.
Correct.
But
Correct. Yes.
basically, as the 70s wore on, you could see that Black Sabbath was starting to get a little tired, and there's a local legend right here in Long Island that Van Halen blew them off the stage when they opened for him right here in Long Island.
Right.
So, and then within a couple of years, they were firing Ozzy, but Priest came along and they basically turned them into, made it even, took what they did that was heavy and made it even heavier with
Correct.
the good guitar attack, and and they really, I thought they really brought it all together on the album Stained Class.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite Priest album.
Correct.
So that's number 6.
And I would definitely, yep. DC says the Sabbath set the template for metal. So let's see who we got here. Natalia. Hi, Natalia. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see. What's my favorite song by Ozzy or Sabbath or in general?
I can answer that. My favorite Sabbath song, I love this song to death, Symptom of the Universe.
Gosh, I think for me, if I was going to say, okay, so she said Ozzy. Well, I'll say Sabbath. I'll answer my Sabbath question first. So my favorite Sabbath song, I think is always going to wind up being Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
Okay, that's a great choice.
I think the first time I heard We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll as a teenager,
mm-hmm.
and I heard that evil, dirty, down-tuned riff in the bridge, and then Ozzy's just singing in the stratosphere. Man, that whole dun, 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 man, that riff like scared the crap out of me, but I loved it. And I still love it to this day. I think it's probably my favorite Sabbath album. I love Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath all together.
Yeah, no, that's a great song. That's a song that follows me back to high school when I really wasn't that familiar with Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
Or what they called the burnouts back then. They would all listen to Sabbath, and that's one of the songs that they gravitated to, carrying those boom boxes around.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so Natalia says her favorite song by Ozzy is Crazy. So I'm guessing Crazy Train or Crazy Babies or one of those.
Crazy Train.
But
now, you asked me what my favorite Ozzy solo song is. Without looking too far into his catalog, I love Over the Mountain.
Mine would be Diary of a Madman.
Okay. That's another great choice.
I love Randy's playing on that so much.
Right.
Randy's playing on Diary is just amazing. So much better than what Blizzard of Oz was, and it's just a shame he was just taken from us too quickly.
Yeah.
Let's see. DC Toonton saw Van Halen open for Sabbath in '78 in Cleveland. They did indeed blow Sabbath off the stage. Tony was so pissed at Ozzy, who was not having a good night. Yikes! Well, let's talk about that. Now, how many times have you seen Ozzy in concert?
Me personally, I've never seen Ozzy. Sadly.
You never saw Ozzy in person? Oh, okay.
Well, I do tell this story. on my channel.
Oh, okay, right. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
I can't give. I didn't think about that. Well, I saw him 3 times. I
Okay.
saw him 3 times. I saw him in '89 on the No Rest for the Wicked tour,
Right.
with a very young Zach Wilde. He didn't have a beard or nothing on him yet, and he didn't have a beer belly yet. Um, Opening acts were Vixen and White Lion.
Mm-hmm.
White Lions just had released Big Game, so that had just come out like a week or so earlier. And then the second time I saw him was in '96 up at Montage Mountain in Scranton.
Mm-hmm.
And John the Music Nut was actually in that crowd at the time.
Okay.
Prong and Filter opened up. And then I saw Ozfest '97 over in Camden, New Jersey at the amphitheater down there.
Oh, okay.
And that they after he did a solo set, then Tony and Geezer.
PNC Bank Arts.
I think that's what it's called now. I forget what it was called back then. But then Tony and Geezer came out and played a Sabbath set with them, and that was pretty cool. But
nice.
Of those 3 times I saw him, yeah, that No Rest for the Wicked tour was the only one he sounded really good on.
Right.
That one at Montage Mountain, I thought I was like cringing a lot at his sound. Band sounded great. He didn't sound so good.
Right.
He sounded a little better at Ozfest '97, but not a whole lot.
Right.
But but that was kind of Ozzy. He was always plagued with good nights, bad nights, and sometimes there was a lot more bad nights. But it is what it is. But from what, by all accounts, I think that last show, from what I understand, was a good thing. Peter Jones, let's be clear about 1978. Sabbath was a complete mess. Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think we would both agree with that. I'm not discounting the power of Van Halen, but a healthy Sabbath isn't blown away by anyone. I would actually kind of agree with that, actually.
Yeah, no.
I bet if everybody was not so high on drugs or alcohol or whatever it was, yeah, a healthy Sabbath would have just been untouchable. I would agree with that, Peter.
But getting back to my question, so I've never seen Ozzy, but I have seen Ronnie James Dio twice.
Right.
Once solo and once with Heaven and Hell. Which,
wow.
Yeah. So I was it the late '90s. I saw Dio at a famous place in the Hudson Valley, the Chance in Poughkeepsie.
Rest in peace.
Yep. And the second time was as at my local place here on Long Island, Jones Beach Amphitheater. They were the second in billing to Judas Priest in 2000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's funny. I always say I never got into the Dio Sabbath much. I can honestly say I've probably listened to each of those albums less than a handful of times.
Oh, wow.
It's just, I don't know. I'm kind of this. I mean, and really the thing that attracted me to Dio was Vivian.
Right. Well, I got to tell you, I think he gave them a real shot in the arm at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because again,
just like Randy did with Ozzy.
Going back to my high school days, those same Sabbath fans, they were loving that first album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, my other thing with Dio is that I never went down the Deep Purple tree that much. Mm-hmm. So I never dove into Rainbow. First time I heard Rainbow was probably Street of Dreams.
Right.
The video for Street of Dreams, maybe. So that was like the first, and I just never went backwards, and
the real Rainbow is the 3 albums with Dio.
Right. And that's what, and a lot of people would agree with that, with Rising probably being the pinnacle. That was the one, everybody's got to go. And I agree. That is a good album. I have gone back and listened to that. But yeah, I was just never, I don't know. I just never gravitated to Dio for some reason. I don't know. Again, that's just me, but but that's just how it was. But I was just always a bigger Ozzy fan.
Yeah. But yeah, like they say on SOT, we all hear things differently, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's why we have panel shows to
sure
discuss our differences. And
or duke them out or something.
yeah.
But yeah, losing Ozzy and Hogan were really, for
Yeah.
me, that was like two huge parts of my childhood into my early adult years. That
So now let me ask you this: Have
Mhm.
you ever seen Hulk Hogan live?
Twice.
Oh, you did. Oh,
I
okay.
I saw Hogan on the very first WWF. I think it was still called WWF when they were still doing shows at Ag Hall. They
Okay.
used to do all their tapings there, or they did a
Oh,
lot of tapings back there in Ag Hall in Allentown. And my dad got me tickets it was February 12th, 1980.
okay.
And
He was
this
still a heel at that time, right?
big time. I think he just got into the WWF at the time. He hadn't been there for very, very long.
I
And
love his
so,
Blassie Freddie Blassie.
right. And I'm almost positive. I've gone back and looked up cards from that time, from that night, and he was on there just beating up, because those hours were like the murder hours. Everybody, all the jobbers were getting killed. Steve King was getting killed.
Yeah.
Jose Estrada and Johnny Rods and Baron Mikel Cicluna were all jobbing everybody. But
And of course, don't forget Frankie Williams got his
and Frankie Williams,
on
I
the
still
front
go out and
Cypress
try.
Kid.
I give it my best.
Yeah. I know run from nobody. I love that.
But but anyway, but the series of tapings that they were taping that night were the ones that had just where it happened after Larry Zbyszko turned on Bruno.
Yes.
So you had all that storyline being built up.
Right.
So that's what that was. So I got to see him then. I saw him again when Salisbury had like a taping with Superstars when I lived in Salisbury, Maryland. And that's I think he was in like a dark match with, I can't even remember who all he was teaming with, but he was definitely there because my girlfriend at the time had her grandmother ran a flower shop, and I worked at a wholesale florist at the time, and so she had an order come in to deliver a long stem white rose to Hulk Hogan that night.
Oh, wow.
Well, we never got to see Hogan in person. We only got to like a customer service place, and then they said we have to take it from here. We can't let you go back. So
Right.
after that, I never got to see Hogan again. So
Right.
I'm going to catch up on a couple of comments here. Peter Jones, while Ozzy clearly outsold him, he stayed with Sabbath until the end, did not follow Ozzy after Bark at the Moon. Let's talk about that for a little bit. How closely did you follow Ozzy's career when he went solo?
Me, I would say probably the first 3 or 4 years. That was it. Yeah.
So probably like Peter here, probably after about
Yeah.
Bark and Ultimate Sin, and that was probably about it.
Right.
I stayed with him up until about Osmosis, until about that 97 Ozfest tour. And then that's kind of when I finally got off the crazy train, as it were.
Right.
But I wasn't following Ozzy that intensely, but that's kind of where I got off. Really, I think I really probably got off because
Well,
I didn't really like Bark at the Moon that much. I liked Ultimate Sin better.
what kind of happened? So right around 84, 85. So this is how I got to meet the leader of SOT. I went to the same college as Pete Pardo, SUNY New Paltz.
Right.
So I started there mid-semester in January of 85. And the big station in the Hudson Valley there was out of Poughkeepsie, New York, called WPH. So
Okay.
anybody that's an SOT follower will have heard them talk about WPDH, and that's primarily what we listened to on campus. And they really did not play that much Ozzy. So, and at that time, that was basically what was introducing me to a lot of new music, and believe it or not, that kind of got me back into Kiss again, because out of the blue, they played "Lick It Up" one day. I'm like, yes, they're back.
Yeah.
But
now, so I'm gonna transition into that.
Mhm.
because Jake has a good question here, and he meant to say, how do we feel about Hulk's acting career? Did you ever see any of Hulk Hogan's movies?
I've seen Rocky 3, so
Yeah.
that's one. Then I saw the movie with who the hell was the tall black guy? I forget
Zeus.
his.
Yeah, Tony Lister. The No
Yeah,
Holds Barred.
yes, that
Yeah.
movie. I mean, it was funny, but it kind of sucked. And
Yeah, I mean that was so cheesy. It was bad.
yeah,
It was good. I mean, it
yeah.
really was. But yeah, I didn't really watch any of Hogan's movies. Really, I just no.
Then again,
No,
I don't
no
like
Holds
the
Barred was about it.
movies either.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um.
everybody talks about how what a great communicator is. I have to be honest. I think his father was so much of a better wrestler than he was. He didn't have the mic skills as a son, but as a wrestler,
Yeah.
Rocky Johnson was fantastic.
Yeah. Rocky. He was the soul man. Yeah. You're not gonna get around that. Jake here. He likes Suburban Commando. So yeah. Sorry, Jake. I can't say I ever watched that, but yeah, you gotta love, and of course, Rocky, grew up and graduated in, near my hometown. He graduated in Freedom High School or Deer High School, one of the two. So that's in that Lehigh Valley area. So that was pretty cool.
So
Um,
I tell you about the two times I've seen Hogan live.
yeah.
If you feel that question,
And Jake said, yeah, there was a movie with Hulk, Carl Weathers, Martin Cove, and Gene Simmons' wife. I'm trying to think what that was.
Gene Simmons' wife,
No,
Shannon.
Shannon Tweed. So I'm trying to think of
Yeah,
what movie that was, but I
yeah.
can't remember what that is now. But
No.
um,
But anyway, so I saw him. So I used to go to all the house shows at Nassau Coliseum, and
mhm.
he wasn't. And he must have had a more favorable contract than say Backlund or San Martino, because he wasn't at every house show. But
No,
I happened to hit it right, and I saw the time he was defending against Cowboy Bob Orton, which was a great match. But of
that's
course he.
cool.
And then later on, I don't know if it was before or after he lost to the Ultimate Warrior. He came to the Coliseum. He wasn't wrestling that night, but he was a guest on the Brother Love show, and basically,
I love you.
yeah, he was funny as hell. But
Oh,
basically, it was during the time he was having a feud with the Big Boss Man. And
oh
Big
yeah,
Boss Man had just attacked him with his nightstick, and yeah,
yeah.
it was very cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
All right. So what do we think about this comment here? We're going to go back to Ozzy here for a second.
sure.
Other than Diary of a Madman, none of Ozzy's albums would outrank Dio Gillen or the Martin era Sabbath for him.
Well, I have an episode that I recorded about a year or two ago, and my buddy Pete does not agree with me on this, but I gave everybody my Sabbath ranking, and you will notice that I'm very favorable to the Dio years.
Not
Uh,
said. Not
I
said.
mean, granted, I do pay homage to a few of the Ozzy records, which
Mm-hmm.
I thought were great, but and I was not kind to the Ian Gillan year.
Yes, I've only heard that. I've actually only heard that album like maybe once or twice. I've not really listened to pretty much anything past the Ozzy era. I'm
Mhm.
not. I can't say I'm very familiar with, and one of these days I really will spend the time with them because I do have. I have them. I have the albums. I got that Tony Martin box set. I just haven't spent any time with it.
Right.
But I think the only album that I've really spent a lot of time with was probably um the Seven Star album. That was probably the only Sabbath album that I really spent a lot of time with.
Well, I don't have my notes in front of me, but I did give his one at least one of Tony Martin's albums a favorable rating. I thought it
Yeah,
was good. I
yeah,
mean, granted, it's not as good as the top Ozzy or Dio albums, but I thought it was decent. It was definitely better than Ian Gillan, and no fault to Ian Gillan's voice. I just
yeah.
think he was a good fit for Sabbath at all.
It was kind of a bizarre fit, and then there's a lot
Yeah,
of people who they all kind of trash the mix. They
yeah,
don't like how it was mixed and all these different things. So
right.
I'm not really sure but I don't know. But anyway, so there you go. So that we could spend all day talking about Ozzy. We could spend all day. Of course, Peter Jones here, he thinks Born Again is a masterpiece. So so
Yeah.
you know, and that's and again, we all hear it. We all hear it differently.
Yeah.
You know, so I've only heard it once or twice, so I can't really say it anything. I know for me personally, I don't mind the mix. The mix didn't hurt my feelings. So
Right.
again, I need to spend more time with
I
it.
mean, honestly, I might feel the same way if my guy Rob Halford was ever recorded an album with Sabbath. It just wasn't meant to be.
Right, right. Perfectly imperfect, as Peter says. So that's what he calls Born Again. So there you go. So we got one more thing that we're going to spend a little bit of time on, and we're going to wrap this dog up a little bit. Jack,
Yes.
I'm not so crazy about your Mets taking over first place from my Phillies.
Well, here I've had this. Can everybody see this cup?
The New York Mets baseball club. Yep. Okay.
So my future son-in-law George and I went to we actually went to the first game against the Chicago Cubs where and it was the first time I had ever seen the Mets hit 4 home runs in one game at home. It was total bliss.
Nice.
But those bastards, do you know what they so this was a souvenir cup. So I bought us a round of I don't know if you guys like Kentucky Mules. George,
No.
so basically, it's bourbon mixed with ginger beer, and
Okay.
it's fantastic. But
Nice.
take a guess how much one of those cost?
$20.
Higher,
$30.
$28 a piece. Yeah,
Woo!
yeah,
Man, now I know why I went dry for 2025.
yeah. But,
Yeah, goodness gracious.
But you know what? Hey, it's a great race. I'm not going to sit here and denigrate the Phillies. They are a tough team, and
Yeah.
I still have a long memory when they took the title away from us in 2007. That was rough. I mean, we had that division wrapped up, and then we just tanked. Something awful.
Yeah, well, that's always been the story of us Phillies fans. They usually,
But
they've never had the chance to have as many, shots at the World Series like a lot of other teams and so forth. So
us winning that and by the way, I don't know if people know this or not, the Mets are actually undefeated in the division series round. They are 5-0.
Oh,
and
wow.
that round where they beat the Phillies, and for me that was vindication for 2007 and 2008.
Let's see. I'm going to catch up on a couple of things here. We keep thinking there's going to be the remix of Born Again, so hopefully that'll happen. Good morning, Rob. Thank you for tuning in from Belfast. Much appreciated.
Welcome, Rob.
And Pete Jones just watched old footage of the Big Red Machine. So yeah.
Well, the Big Red Machine meaning the Cincinnati Reds.
Yes. Yeah. That was, oh gosh. I mean,
I was,
man, think of all those players that were on that team. Good.
I was long an admirer of that team, and it's on my bucket list to go visit the stadium in Cincinnati for that reason and see their Hall of Fame, because I love that team from the 70s. And let me tell you, as a disgruntled Met fan, I was happier than a pig in shit when they swept the Yankees.
Yeah, that's right. They did. That's right. I forgot about that. See, yeah, because because that had to be early 70s, I think, wasn't it?
That was 76. 75 was probably the best World Series I had ever seen. They went to 7 games with the Boston Red Sox.
Right.
But then Luis Tiant got it in his head to throw this ephus pitch, which Tony Perez wisely waited on the pitch and deposited it over the monster. Yeah, easily.
Yeah. See, my memories of my earliest memories of the World Series would be like 78 or 77 and 78 when you had the back-to-back Dodger Yankee games. So That's
remember
what I remember the most.
But for those who might be interested, so ESPN, I don't know if anybody's heard of this. ESPN would do these dramatic series every once in a while, and they did a series about the '77 Yankees called "The Bronx is Burning."
Mm-hmm.
If you're a baseball fan, I highly recommend it.
Nice. Okay.
Highly recommend it. You know what? Even if you hate the Yankees, you'll enjoy this because there was so much infighting during the year. It was entertaining in itself.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, they had some a lot of big names back then. I mean, you got Reggie, you had Goose Gossage, you had Ron Guidry had that one year where he was like 25-3.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
Of course.
Nobody has those kind of
Thurman
records.
Munson.
Thurman Munson, God rest his soul, died in that plane crash.
Yeah.
Man, I remember that. What? Gosh, who else was there?
Greg
Willie Randolph and
Roy
Bucky
White.
Benton.
Roy White, and who's the center fielder? Mickey Rivers.
Yeah. There's a lot of great players on that team. But you know, us Philly fans, we kept bowing to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
For dumb plays, and
we finally got it done in 1980.
We finally got it done in '80, though. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
my Mets were totally in the tank those years.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, look at these players: Foster, Geronimo, Griffey Sr., Rose, Concepcion, Morgan, Perez, Bench.
Yep.
What a lineup! I mean, good God Almighty! All major league. I mean, just top of the line players right there.
Oh yeah. That was basically a murderer's row.
It was. It really was. But they just I don't know, for whatever reason they just didn't get to produce.
Being a Mets fan, I got to. The Mets had a very special relationship with Pete Rose. I got to see all those boos. So.
Yep. Yeah. Do we think they're really going to let him in the Hall of Fame now that he's dead?
I think they should.
I think they will. I think they lift. If they lifted that ban, I think it's high time they did that. It's just a shame they had to do it when they.
For one very specific reason, I think they should let him in. Because what did they start doing a few years ago? They started allowing advertisements for gambling outfits in their stadiums. So, like, take Citi Field for example. The middle section used to be called the Caesar section for Caesar's Palace. And then, so my boss took me to a game about a year or two ago, and we're walking over the Shea Bridge in the outfield there, and we get solicited. Oh, would you like to join FanDuel? And I didn't want to get nasty because my boss was there. I very politely said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't gamble."
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I think about I think about the year. I think Pete Rose was inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think about that, and Bobby Heenan was inducted that same year.
Well, so
out
there, who attacked Pete Rose during his speech that night in Boston?
Kane.
There you go.
Kane got him twice. He got him twice. He got him when he came out as the San Diego Chicken, and he tombstoned him then and took the hat off, and boom, there it was. But it's a miracle that they let Bobby Heenan into the Hall of Fame when he admitted that he was betting on wrestling at ringside.
Oh, really? Wow.
I think he said it as a joke. He said all of that as a joke, but
right.
Kiefer, how you doing, buddy? He says hello. Kiefer Livingston here says hey Jack as well.
Hey,
let's see. Jim Gray attacked Pete Rose lot. Yeah, I guess that was something else. But I don't know about that part. But yeah, good stuff. But we could talk all night about all kinds of fun things. But But Jack, I just wanted to just thank you for doing this with me. I hope all of you who have been watching this have kind of enjoyed us, just kind of yakking back and forth about a few different topics here. Hopefully next week I'll come back and I'll come back out and do something. I'll come back out and do something. Whatever else happens this week. Hopefully we won't have any major celebrities pass away through this week. Maybe it'll be a quiet week, but
It's been quiet so far, yeah. Hopefully
it's only Monday, so we got a long way to go. But anyway, y'all, this has been.
Go
ahead, Jack.
Story. So I was having one. So I'm in IT, and we were having one of our meetings today, and the project manager's like, "Oh, Monday, and blah blah blah." So I mentioned another song that basically denigrating this day of the week. I don't know if you ever heard of the song by the Boomtown Rats. I don't like Mondays.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's appropriate. That is definitely appropriate. But Jack, what you got coming up on your channel?
Okay, so if people have been watching me lately, I've had a series called the 90-minute best of cassettes, and that's been running since February, March. And you know what? I see no reason to stop. I'm having fun with it.
Good.
I wish the views were a little better, but I'm having a blast with it. And I've got bands like Traffic and Dream Theater coming up, and somebody just requested Ted Nugent, so I'm working on that. What else am I working on? I'm working on an episode to talk about the top concept albums. I'm working on an episode to talk about the top double albums. Now, mind you, studio albums only. No Kiss Alive,
Right.
And I also have a fun Seinfeld episode coming up because I haven't done them in a while.
There you go. I was gonna say, my brother and sister would be all over that. So that's good. Cool. So you got a lot of good stuff coming up. Yeah, with me.
Yeah. How about you?
It's just whatever comes into my mind. Really. I mean, that's that. I don't have much of anything happening at this point, but I will be on Grant's Rock Warehouse next week. We're going to talk about 1993 tracks. Nice. So that'll be fun. I do want to mention this here. Kiefer says, I know Johnny Metal doesn't like this band, but I don't care. Jack, is it true that you're working on a Dream Theater show? And you just answered him yes. To be honest, Kiefer, let me just set the record straight about Dream Theater. I really only know like the images and words and change of seasons. After that, I just never have taken the time to listen to them. I respect them as musicians because they're all monster musicians. It's just never been a band that I've really gravitated towards that much. I think they were just maybe I think I was already into like Fate's Warning, right. And Dream Theater's like 3 steps beyond Fate's Warning. So as far as where they're going. So I'll stick to Fate's Warning. I'm just not smart enough for Dream Theater. So I say
I'm gonna give you a little spoiler. So if you saw my episodes on Symphony X and Iron Maiden, basically I did a 90-minute cassette of their shorter songs and then a cassette of their epics. I'm doing that same thing with Dream Theater.
Cool. All right. Good.
Fortunately,
good to know. That's
not even enough for how much wealth of great material they have. Yeah. But it's going to have to suffice. But
yeah, one day I'll go down that rabbit hole. But I've got enough rabbit holes I'm trying to get into. So, anyway, I'll just throw this up here. Yeah, and it's the weird thing is Portnoy says if it wasn't for Fate's Warning, you wouldn't see Dream Theater in the way it exists.
Right.
Fate's Warning has a lot to do with Dream Theater. So, keep that and folks have to keep that in mind. It's cool that you like Fate's Warning, Keither. That's good stuff because there's a lot of good stuff there. But anyway, all right, y'all, this has been Monday Night Metal. I hope y'all have had a good time just kind of watching us chew the fat. Jack, thank you again for doing this. We got to do this again someday. Hopefully our Phillies and Mets will be battling each other to the end of the season, and we'll have to duke it out or something. But anyway, so with that said, thanks in advance. I love all you guys for watching this. Tune in next week. We'll see what happens. So for Jack Toledano, for all according to Jack,
Or
all or
not.
not according to Jack. I'm gonna get that right. I got tongue tied. John Clouser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, for rock and roll, rock forever, Monday Night Metal. Let's see what happens next week. Take care, everybody.
Okay. Have a good night, all.
You got it.